So, just got my ground bait. I've mixed up 3 pints. You don't need much. So, I mixed up 2 pints of F1 sweet, cool water to 1 pint swim stim silverfish. So the reason I've picked these two, F1 sweet cool water is my favourite skimmer ground bait through the winter. However, I've added a pint of the silverfish to it just to give it a bit more food value, because at Barston today there's a nice ripple on, the wind's off our back, and I think we're going to catch a few fish, so I want something with a bit of food value. But the main food value is going to be the Bloodworm and Joker. So the Bloodworm and Joker itself just comes in what we'd call a match pack. I've not brought the full match pack today because I've just come for a little practice, because I've got a match here on Saturday. You do not need loads. All I've done, in a match pack you get half a kilo of Joker. All I've done is just split that down into thirds, and I brought 1/3 with me. That's about 300 to 400 mil, and I don't even expect to use all that. So I've just got my Joker here, and then again I've done exactly the same with the Bloodworm. Just took a little pinch out my hook pack and put it in some newspaper, and then I'll just add this to some water, just keep it on my side tray. So I want to dispel a few myths around Bloodworm Joker. So one of the myths is it's hard to use. It's really not. I'll show you today just how easy it is. Myth 2 is it's hard to get. No, it's not. So I got mine from the Tackle Shack in Nuneaton. It's really easy to order. Just ring up or get in touch with them on Facebook, drop them a message, tell them what you want, and you can either pick it up in store or they'll deliver it to you. So myth 3 is it's expensive. So I've paid £12 for a match pack. A match pack would typically last me about 4 matches feeder fishing. So that's not much at all. It's probably the same price as 2 pints of maggots, and it's certainly cheaper than getting worms. So yeah, they're the 3 myths around it. I'm just going to get some tackle set up now, and I'll join you once we're all set up and ready to go. So I'm all set up now, and I'm ready to start fishing. I'll just take you through the way I'm going to kick off the peg. So if you look at my side tray now, you'll see just how simple it is. So I've got a bowl here with my Joker in. I've just kept it in the newspaper, put it in a bowl so I can put the lid over. What that's going to stop me doing is getting ground bait in there. So when I'm filling up my feeder, ground bait's not going to go on the Joker and kill it. So next, all I've got is a different array of feeders. Not loads, just a little tub with the feeders that I'll know that I'll need. I've just got a little tub with some bloodworm in. Not much in there. I've put half of what I've brought, just in case we have an accident and spill that lot in the water. I know I've still got some in my bag. And then I've got just a little tub with some pinkies in. These pinkies, what they're good for, later in the session, you can suffer with indications and not being able to get the fish actually to take the hook bait, because this is what Joker does. The fish really like it that much, it just sends them into a frenzy, really, even in the winter. And what these do, if you just tip your bloodworm with a pinky, this can sometimes get you a quick bite. And then finally, I've just got a tub here, which all I'm going to do is just put my ground bait in. So I've got my bucket under my side tray. I'm just going to measure my bait out, and there's a pint of ground bait in there. So the way I like to kick off is measure everything out. So all I'm going to do, I've got a 150ml pot here. I'm just going to half fill that. So as you can see in the tub, that's not even dented that Joker, really. That's absolutely loads of bait. So there's about 70ml in there, 75ml. I'm just going to put that to a pint of ground bait. And all I'm going to do is just give it a mix up. All that's going to do is just separate the Joker make sure it's thoroughly mixed up. And there we have it. That's going to be my base mix, and then we'll play around with that as the session goes on. We haven't got loads of time. It's like coming up to 12 o'clock now, so we've probably got 3 hours fishing, but I should be able to get a good understanding of how it's going to be the weekend with 3 hours. Okay, all I've set up is 2 rods, an 11 foot and a 10 foot. We're going to fish these at 2 different ranges. The 11 foot we're going to fish out at 35 metres, and then the 10 foot we're going to fish out at 20 metres. So feeding, you want to feed the line that you're going to start on, should I say. So I'm going to pick up the 11 foot and we're going to start long, and then we're going to put some bait in there, and then because we're going to start on that one, and then what we're going to do, put some in on the short one, and then hopefully when we push out onto the longer line, there is a couple of fish there waiting. So we'll give it a try anyway. I'm just going to put on, not going to put loads of bait in, just going to start on a 3-hole feeder to put some bait out. And then all I'm going to do is just put in 2 feeder falls, 3-hole feeders out into that long line, just with that joker in. We're not going to add anything else to this. It's not going to squeeze in hard. It's nice and light. There we go. We've got a peg full of swans and ducks. By squeezing it light, what that's going to do, it's going to break down maybe off the bottom and just create a bed of ground bait and joker. It's got my marker on the far bank. Don't expect to bite for maybe 40 minutes, an hour. So I'm not really in any rush. But that's that fed. And then the shorter line, I'm going to give this. So on that, I'm going to start off with 10-minute casts. So that'll be 6 feeder falls in 1 hour. So I'm going to put that onto the short line and then top it up after an hour and just keep in touch with that, but just rest it. And then I'm hoping to catch on that line the last hour, really. So yeah, six feeder falls on that line. I could put a big baiting up feeder on, but I really want to understand exactly what's gone into my peg, because on Saturday it could be really important. Today's a practice. Okay, all that's left to do now is attach our hook length to the rod and then get fishing. So we're starting on a 50cm hook length. What I've done, when I was setting my rod up, I put a bomb on and I tested the toe, and what we have got is some toe. So what this is going to do, when you cast out, the toe is going to pick up your hook length and push it away from the feeder. If there weren't any toe on, I wouldn't go any bigger than a 30cm hook length, because your hook length doesn't land any further than 30cm away from your feeder. So there's no point going any longer than 30cm unless you have got a toe on. Okay, I've got two hook lengths, and this will come more apparent in a minute why I've got two hook lengths set up just for this one rod. So I'm just going to start on a bunch of Joker, just 3 Joker, and you could see how long that takes to put them on. So when you're putting the Joker on, you just go through the black or green head, depending on where the bloodworms come from. The head will be darker sometimes, but you'll see what end it goes through. It's the dark end. But the reason, as I was saying, I've got 2 hook lengths is because it takes a bit of time to put on the hook. So when I cast out, I'll start my stopwatch, and what I'll do, I'll load up my other hook with bloodworm. So then it's a case of reeling in, clip on my other hook length, and then straight back out. And that's a really good tip. What will save you loads of time, really. Just cast out. I do like to sink my braid. There you go, it's sunk. And then just put the rod down. Make sure I know what time it's gone in. And then we'll give that 10-minute casts. So we'll have 10-minute casts for an hour, and then we'll go from there. The tip is bent right round just because of the toe today. Barston is susceptible to a lot of toe because it's shallow. It does get a lot of toe on it. But as you'll see, my rod's in the rest. I do sometimes, if I fish for small fish, like to hold my rod and strike at the bites. But because it's towing a lot, I put the rod down and just let the fish pull themselves on. That's why I'm using a 50cm hook length, because when I cast in, the toe's that strong, it'll grab the hook length and straighten it out. But even if we used a 2-ounce tip today, it'd still be bent round, so I'd rather go for a lighter tip and still have it being soft, because you will then see the indications. If you go for a strong tip, yeah, it won't bend round as much, but you won't see the indications because the water's still really cold. We're in December. The fish probably aren't going to be savage when they take the bait. They're probably just going to pick it up and swim off. That's when you get your indications. With this second hook length, because it takes a while to put the bloodworm on, all I'm doing is when I cast out, load that hook with bloodworm. That way, when I reel in, I'm saving time. I'm just clipping off my hook length, clipping a different one on, and then straight back out. Oh, it is really cold now. I'm just sat here doing nothing though. That's an indication that. Feeding, like, there's two ways to feed it really when you feed a fishing. You've got the way I like to do it for roach, which is, even though we're not fishing for roach today, I don't want to go filling the pegging. So all you're going to do is just get your ground bait, add the joker to the ground bait, mix it up. So when you cast in, you're getting a nice spread of joker along the bottom, and that stimulates the fish into feeding. The fish will sit off the bottom with normal baits. They'll sit above it and they won't even go down and feed. Now and again they'll drop down, pick something up and then come back up. With joker they'll go down and they stay tail up and they'll feed on the bottom. But the way I do like to do it, if I think I'm going to have a good day, is a thing called giving it a hit. And that's just, you just put your hand in your joker and you just pick up a ball of joker, about the same size as a 10p piece, and you just put that into your ground bait, get your feeder, and you fill your feeder with that joker. And what that does, you'll have a ball of joker on the bottom, so when your feeder breaks down you'll be left with a ball of joker and then a ball of bloodworm on your hook. And what it does, it simulates the two, so they look pretty similar. When a bream comes down, picks it up, you get a mouthful of joker. The same as if you picked your hook bait up, you get a mouthful of bloodworm and a mouthful of hook. So yeah, that's the two different ways of feeding. Because I'm having a practice today, I don't really want to start on the more positive. I want to try and start negative, see the reaction, and then we'll go positive to see what happens. But I've had two indications straight away, which is a good sign. There's another indication then, just picked up, and that's our first fish. Going to take our time with him. Feels like a nice fish. Just nodding away. And that's an absolute mega start. And that's why I didn't want to go filling the pegging first. What can happen if you put too much bait in, the fish can get preoccupied and you find it really hard to actually get them onto your hook. You could do two lines, one left and one right, and try which one's better. I haven't really got the bait to do that. Don't want to go using all my bait today in the practice, then not have the bait on the actual match. Just trying to bring him round to my left more than anything because I've got a tree on my right, which is in the way really. We've got a flight path behind us here at Barston. We've got an airport. So you will hear some aeroplanes. But hopefully you'll hear me over them. Another good tip is make sure you've got a 4-metre landing net handle, because shallow venues like Barston, the fish tend to pop up a bit further out. So it enables you to get them first time. That's a lovely fish, about £3, maybe just under. As I was saying about the hook length, literally, instead of take your time to put fresh bait on. Literally pick your other hook length up with your bait already on. Put it onto your quick change swivel. And there you go. Really quick, really efficient. The rig I'm using is just a helicopter rig. So you've got our main line. All you're going to do is just slide a quick change swivel on. Then what you need to do is slide a snap link swivel onto the main line. Twizzle about 3 or 4 inch line. And then put 2 stops either side of the snap link, the quick change swivel. The main reason I'm using that, Barston isn't, there is some silt in Barston, but it's not too silty. But the main reason I'm using it is because it gives me that ability to change my hook length so quickly. Far bank marker on the far side. There you go. I do like to sink my braid. A lot of people don't like to sink it because it takes so long. I'm just using Suffolk's advanced braid today. And it sinks like an absolute stone. It's fantastic. What it's got is a layer of gore running through the middle of it, and that helps it sink really quick. So I'm fishing that now with quite a slack tip. Make sure to set my watch. Fishing that with quite a slack tip, and I'm just going to let the toe take up the slack. That's an indication then. Not going to be striking at indications today. I'm going to wait for the fish to really pull themselves on. What you don't want is to pick up, prick a bream, because what that'll do is spook the rest of the shoal and you could ruin your peg. I'd rather make sure that they're on and then pick up. I'm just going to carry on fishing now for a bit, and then I'll join you in the second hour. Oh, there's another one. Oh God, that's an angry one. So I was going to join you in the second hour, but I'll let you see me land this, and then I'll join you in the second hour. That's a fantastic start. 2 bream, 2 chucks. That had only been in a couple of minutes. Again, just going to let him come round to my left, just so actually he's not getting in the way. Another nice fish by the feels of it. Oh God. That's why it felt angry. The big F1. So it just proves even F1s love a bit of Bloodworm and Joker. Felt like a big bream. Yeah, I'll leave it there and I'll join you in a second hour.